Hi, Mr. Gamma Rooster here. So Havenhythe was released a couple of weeks ago, bringing new completion escape requirements. So in this episode of Road to Recomp, I will be exploring this new area and completing as many of these requirements as possible to get one step closer to my goal of reclaiming the completion escape. I will also continue my PvM journey by taking on some bosses like Rasial and also hard Mode Zuk, so hope you enjoy. So Fletching is one of the skills that was updated all the way to level 110, which makes sense since woodcutting was updated too. What doesn't make sense to me is that fire making was also made a requirement for the completion escape, so now you need to get 110 fire making. That requirement feels like it was just added for the sake of it, so there are barely any meaningful benefits. From level 100 to 110, there's actually no benefits at all. You just get from 99 to 110, and the only unlock is a new log, and that's it. My opinion, very strange and very lazy by Jagex. But getting back to Fletching, I trained the skill by doing some Eternal Magic short bows at the Forge 4 and 3 Fletching bench. I don't think it's the fastest method, but it's very AFK, which works perfectly for me since I work from home. So what I did is I filled up the wood box and worked on 5 short bows at the same time. So each one gave around 80,000 XP. So that's roughly 400k XP per inventory completed, and each inventory I think took around 1 to 2 hours to complete. I know that's not very efficient, but like I mentioned, I prefer the method to be AFK and also to not break my bank, because I used the logs that I had from 110 woodcutting, and I actually had some of them left in the end. Yeah, when you stand in the same spot for a long time, you start noticing some random things, like for example this woman's arm. It's very weird. It looks like it's gonna fall off. Or the fact that the raptor no longer has that cool flail weapon that he or she had before. And she will also look way better with a cape. But yeah, 110 fletching done without breaking a sweat. Next up is smithing. So I was honestly scared of this grind because smithing has always been known to be a very expensive skill to train. But I found this method that's not only very good XP, but it's also super AFK and some slightly profitable. So from 100 to 110, you're supposed to do primal smithing, but making the full armor sets and doing burial smithing is insanely expensive. So I made 20 primal helmets and worked on the 20 helmets simultaneously. So with super hit form, the elven ritual shard, and the smithing auto here, I could AFK for up to 15 minutes if I wanted to, or just click every 5 minutes the elven ritual shard so I don't run out of prayer. I got so much XP that I even unlocked the everything in the artisan workshop, which I think is a requirement for the trimmed completionist. Not that I'm going for that goal, at least not yet. There are probably faster and better methods than the one I used, like maybe buying the +4 play bodies and the bars. But I stuck with this method because, like I mentioned, it's very AFK, and I also made a bit of profit, as you can see right here. Honestly, if I ever plan on getting 200 million smithing XP, this might be the method that I will be using. But yeah, 110 smithing completed. Talking about combat, 120 necromancy is something that I really need to start working on, because it's a requirement for the completion escape, and I'm just not even half of the XP required to get to 120. So from now on, most of the PvM that I will be doing will be done with Necro until I hit 120. Since I'm pretty new to the style, I decided to train it at Rasial. Well, this is the endgame Necromancy boss. So I'm still missing the tier 95 weapon, so I figured that it was a good idea not only to learn the style, but to also get lucky with a drop. At the start, it was very rough. I was eating a lot and barely doing any damage, but over time, I improved my personal best and got more comfortable with the abilities and also the incantations, with, by the way, I never used before. That said, I'm not really the biggest fan of the Rasial boss fight. And clearly he's not a fan of me either because, well, I ended up with 161 KC and 0 drops. I probably won't be grinding out Rasial log anytime soon, but I'll have to come back later for the combat achievements. But anyways, after Rasial, I feel that I really learned how you are supposed to use Necro, especially with the Equilibrium perk. I feel like it does a decent amount of damage and has a lot of quality of life. So I wanted to do more PVM, and I decided to take my next step in the gear progression, which is getting the tier 95 melee 200 weapon, and also the Zuk drops that I am missing. So when Zuk was first released, I did a few normal mode kills just to get the capes and because I liked the encounter, but I never even attempted to do the hard mode. So to do the hard mode, I started with magic because, well, I wanted to try out this stuff of Armadillo and also the cryptocurrency armor, or the cryptobloom armor. And yeah, immediately you feel the difference in difficulty. The mobs hit way harder, they have more health, and there are no checkpoints until Zuk himself. I really died a lot at the beginning, but each attempt, well, I got further and further, and I started to learn the waves, where to stand, a proper way to lure the mobs, to take less damage and save resources to be able to complete all the encounter. So the first time I was able to reach the boss, I was completely out of supplies, so I had to teleport out and come back to finish the fight. Surprisingly, the boss fight itself is pretty similar to the normal mode. There's an extra phase at the end, which is actually the easiest part of the whole cave. And just like that, I got my first hard mode Zuk kill. But I didn't want to stop there, so I wanted to get the cape, which required a full hard mode run without teleporting out and completing all the challenges. I really like magic, but since I need to level up Necromancy, I changed to Necromancy, and the quality of life that Necromancy offers is just amazing. The healing from the ghost, using threads of fate to clear out the waves faster, and darkness giving you a 10% chance to dodge the attacks. So this style is amazing for Zuk. Eventually with Necromancy I finally got a full run without teleporting out, and eventually I completed all the challenges and defeated Zuk in one go. So this way I earned the best combat cape in the game, and I'll be wearing it proudly from now on. Still no drops though, so I'll definitely be back until I'll complete the log. For some reason, I still had some Keely tasks left to do. This is the task that you need to complete to be able to craft the Necromancy armors, so I went back to finish them. So this task included killing some monsters like dragons, killing some God Wars Dungeon 2 bosses. So I ended up revisiting bosses that I never thought I'd go back to, knocking out some combat achievements along the way. Well, in the end, she admits that she made me do all of that just for her entertainment, but this task reignited my love for PvM, and the command achievements add a really fun layer to the game, so I'll definitely be going for more after I finish my comp. And finally, we have Havenhythe. Havenhythe is the new area that was added to RuneScape 3 and supposedly one of the biggest expansions yet. So with this new area, they release new quests, some scaling activities, and some bosses. Some of these are also requirements for the completionist escape. So of course, we had to head there. To access the area, you basically have to get drunk and go on a fever dream.
Havenhythe is a peaceful place.
Is it?
The people here are simple, good-hearted folk.
They're
Farmers,
vampires.
Fishermen, miners.
Vampires.
These lands are rich and teem with life.
And vampires.
Through gleaming rivers and ageless woods.
So after that, you hop on the boat, you go to the new area, and meet some characters, which I think will be coming back a lot during this quest line. And just tell me that Adam doesn't look like that guy from the fort. You get stalked by a vampire lady who eventually joins you on a quest to destroy something straight out of Bloodborne. So this vampire lady looks like she's gonna be very important for this storyline. She may betray us at some point, but in the end it's gonna be revealed that she was on our side all along. I was honestly surprised by how big the area is. With the visuals, some animations, and models all look very polished. And the story, well, it seems promising. I really love the new quest, Whiskey. It felt like an old school quest. So you help out a young kid to become a wizard and starting his journey as an adventurer or as a wizard, similar to the Carnelian Rising questline. And so I really hope we get to see more of him in the future, to see his progression as a wizard. Maybe he help us out during the Havenhythe events. And for the completionist, one of the requirements is buying everything in the summoning shop. So there's this new summoning obelisk that gives you more XP per pouch, but at the cost of training at a slower pace. I think it's good for Iron Man if you want to train AFK and save some charms and some materials as well. What I did is I made giant chinchompa pouches since the ingredients they stack, and I used notepaper for the pouches to avoid a constant bank runs. It took a few hours, but it was very AFK. Another requirement is maxing out all of the fish you can get in the new fish farm. So you have 4 pools of fish now. You can have lobsters, sharks, and I don't remember the other ones, but you just need to get the max amount of fishes in every pool at the same time. So it's a super easy achievement. You just need to make sure that the algae does not spread to the pools. You don't lose any fish in the process, because if you mess up one time, you need to start the process all over again. So overall, Havenhythe is looking great. So I haven't tried some of the content like the new beginner bosses or the hunter encounters, but I'll have to come back to them for the combat achievements and once I plan on getting 110 hunter, because it's also a requirement for the comp cape, but it just has a very long grace period. So I'm very close to reclaiming the completion escape. All I'm missing is getting 110 crafting, 110 fire making for some reason, 110 necromancy, and after that it's just collecting a few songs and doing one run of the Sanctum of Rebirth, which I don't think is gonna be that hard. I still need to get 100 TV in, but I'm still in the grace period for that, so I'll do that after I reclaim the cape. So I might actually be done by next episode, and hopefully I will also get some drops from Zuk. But that will not be the end. I also plan on doing something related to combat and bossing, and I will reveal it in my next video. Well, as you can see, I'm already working towards my next 110. So I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for making it to the end.